2023 is getting closer by the day, and I genuinely think this is going to be the year for cozy gamers. So today I made the ultimate list of cozy games that are coming out in 2023 to show you why I think this year is our year. Also, a huge shout out to Wholesome Games who let me demo some of these games early, which means I can give you even more information than just the trailers show. Kicking off this list is one of the most anticipated cozy games of the year, and that's Mineko's Night Market. Now, sadly, they haven't exactly revealed when the release date is in 2023, but instead they provided us with not only a new trailer, but also a free demo. Sadly, right now the demo is PC exclusive, but hopefully it'll be coming to the Nintendo Switch soon. If you've never heard of Mineko's Night Market, it's a game where you play as Mineko, who's arrived at her new home on a Japanese-inspired island at the base of Mount Fugu. Once you arrive at the island though, you realize that the islanders worship the sun cat Abe. And although widely regarded as a myth, over the recent days, villagers have begun claiming that they've seen Abe themselves. So it's up to you to discover the secrets around the town and restore the village to its former glory. But don't worry, this adventure will definitely not be small. You'll need to solve puzzles, evade nosy agents, sneak into areas in disguise, and you can also craft, befriend townfolk, and barter with them at the weekly night markets. And if that isn't enough for you, you can also race cats. I am in love with the look of this game, the art style, and the cat focus, and I'm so excited to play it next year. Next is a game I cannot wait to get my hands on, and that's Storia Seasons: A Wonderful Life. Now, sadly, if you live anywhere other than Japan, you can't expect to see this game till summer 2023. But if it's even half as good as the trailers, it'll be well worth the wait, as this seems so different to every other Storia Seasons game we've seen in recent years. You decide to start a farm in a town called Forgotten Valley. And like all good farming sims, your days are filled with looking after crops, livestock, farming, mining, and befriending the local townspeople. And if you're lucky, even marrying and settling down with one of them. But there's one huge difference between this game and every other farming sim I've played recently. In Storia Seasons: A Wonderful Life, time actually progresses. The gameplay is split into different chapters. Not only does each chapter span a couple of years, each chapter is also separated by several years as well, meaning that the entire game itself spans almost a lifetime. Not only will you see yourself age, you'll also see your child age with you. And the way you play the game has consequences. Your parenting decisions in the game will decide the future career of your child. Will they carry on your farm and your legacy, or will they move on to something else? But the game goes even further and even deeper than that. Everyone you meet in the town also ages. Villagers will come and go, and you'll get to see the children of the town age and their personalities shift as they do. I completely love this idea of gameplay, as it's going to transform the way I play farming sims. Normally, I pay very little attention to any of the townspeople until I've got my farm basically up and running and in a good state. I can't do that in this game, because if I do that, I might miss out on the opportunity to meet someone special. If I wait too long, I might even miss villagers in the town completely and never get to meet them. And I won't get to experience the fun that is seeing the people of the village grow up and get older if I never spoke with them to begin with. So it's going to force me to actually spend time with each of the villagers and get to know them in a way I didn't really bother with so many other games. And I love that. Technically, this is a remake of the Harvest Moon game, A Wonderful Life, but they have made a number of notable changes since the game came out. The biggest of which is that you can now play as something other than a male protagonist, and they've added a bunch more marriage candidates to the game as well. I'm just sad we have to wait until summer to get our hands on it, but I cannot wait. Next is a game I don't think anyone could have predicted, and it literally dropped yesterday at the Game Awards. This is Bayonetta Origins: Cereza and the Lost Demon. And somehow they've made Bayonetta look kind of cozy. And the crazy part of all of this is that this game is releasing on the 17th of March. That is so soon. The story sees you play as Cereza, who enters a forest she was warned to never go into. But she does so anyway to try and find and free her imprisoned mother. All while she brings her stuffed cat named Cheshire. To try and get to your mum, you will first need to summon demons, explore the forest, and even solve puzzles. There's been so much backlash to this game already, considering it was literally just announced yesterday, but to someone who hasn't dipped their toes into the Bayonetta franchise, this game looks so enticing, and I think this will be my first Bayonetta game. And I'm kind of glad we don't have to wait very long to try it. If you've seen any of my previous videos, you'll know how excited I am for this, and this is Octopath Traveler 2. Again, another game that we don't have to wait very long for, as this game releases in February. If you watched any of my previous videos, you'll know that Octopath is one of my favorite games to have ever released on the Nintendo Switch. I love everything about it. The art style, the music, the combat, the stories, and I'm so excited that they're bringing out a second one. This game introduces 8 new characters into an exciting new era in the second game. Much like the last game, each of the 8 travelers you play as has unique path actions that now even differ depending on what time of day it is. They also say on their website that they've elevated literally every aspect of this game in the second Octopath, so I can't wait to get my hands on it. It's definitely probably going to be one of my games of the year. Next up is Atelier Ryza 3, Alchemist of the End and the Secret Key. Yes, I am a chemist, and no, I don't just favorite games to do with chemistry, okay? This will be my first ever Atelier Ryza game, and I am so excited to try it out. In Atelier Ryza 3, Ryza and her friends are living peacefully on their home island of Kirken when they get news of the sudden appearance of a mysterious group of islands. And it turns out these islands are having a negative effect on Ryza's home. So you and your friends set off on an adventure to investigate and find out a way to save her island. And it's safe to say there's a bit more going on than they first expected. The game's world is set to be the largest of any of the previous Ryza games, with multiple maps that connect seamlessly. And with 11 total party members, some new and some old, you can mix and match to make your perfect team. Next is a game that had its trailer drop in the wholesome snack, and that's Mail Time. Sadly, there's no exact console release date, but it does say 2023. And if you're looking for a game to soothe your inner cottagecore themed heart, then this is the game for you. Thanks to the Wholesome Games team, I've already played the demo and it is absolutely adorable. You basically just run around delivering mail to the residents, who are adorable creatures by the way, and help those you pass along the way. The writing for each of the residents is great, and I love that there's a story with every letter you deliver. You even get to see the villagers open their letters and react to the message inside, which is unbelievably wholesome, and I think it's going to fit perfectly on the Nintendo Switch. Then we have many people's most anticipated game for 2023, and that's Fae Farm. The trailer so far just says spring 2023. And one thing I didn't realize when I first saw the trailer is that this is a Nintendo Switch exclusive, which is amazing news as this means it's likely to be well optimized for the Switch, as it's not an afterthought. Fae Farm is a farming sim with so much more to do than just farming. It allows you to literally live out your fairy tale life, and also offers up to 4-player co-op. You can farm, gather resources, craft, mine, and explore the land of Azuria. There's also a town you can visit, people to befriend, and not only can you decorate your house, but you can also decorate your farm as well. But that's not all you can do. You can also travel to different realms to carry out quests, and of course fight monsters. I am so excited for this game, and again, I just wish it was coming out earlier. Next is Lodalnaut. I was lucky enough to manage to play the demo of this early, and it genuinely took me by surprise how much I enjoyed it. Now, don't just judge it by its visuals, as it's honestly such a relaxing game where you basically just clean the ocean and also clean the fish. It's a super slow-paced game in the best way, where you simply run around, collect up all the trash, and clean the pollution off the local plant life. When I first started playing this, I was a little worried about the fact that there was an O2 meter, but once you clean your first plant, you realize that they let off air bubbles, which when you swim into replenishes your O2. Once I figured that out, O2 wasn't really a problem, and I had a wonderfully chill time. It's a little bit tricky to say when this game will be coming to the Switch. It's currently a 2-person dev team, but in a recent interview, they did state how much they wanted this to come to the Nintendo Switch, so hopefully we'll see it soon. Next, we have a Kickstarter game named Bits and Bops. And this is a rhythm game coming to the Switch later next year. Don't be fooled by its cute art style though. because this is easily one of the most creative rhythm games I've ever played. It almost feels like WarioWare vibes, but every minigame is a rhythm game, and I am living for it. I found myself getting sucked into the gameplay so fast. The demo let you play 4 levels, and whilst they were all rhythm-based, they were all super unique and challenging in their own way. When I was younger, I learned how to play the bassoon, so I do have a history of doing music, but some of those levels were really hard. Next, we have possibly the most stunning game on the list, set for a 2023 release, and this is called Europa. It took a bit of digging, but I did find this will be coming to the Nintendo Switch. And when I tell you my jaw dropped when I saw this game, it is stunning. The whole game is based on Jupiter's moon Europa, and this adventure lets you explore the now ruined utopia as you discover the story of the last human alive. We know so little, and yet I am so excited. I cannot wait. Next is the cozy game coming to us first next year, and that's Fire Emblem Engage, coming to us on the 20th of January. Somehow I forgot how soon this game was coming, but I am so excited. Fire Emblem Three Houses is hands down one of my favorite games on the Nintendo Switch. And finally, we're getting another mainline Fire Emblem game. But first, I want to get this out of the way. Yes, the main character's hair looks like toothpaste. Now that I've acknowledged it, can we move on from that fact, please? This game takes place in Elyos, a land with 4 realms, and at the center of it is a holy land. 1,000 years ago, a war broke out between the people of Feldragon and Elyos, during which time the people of Elyos called upon emblems, heroes from another world, to help them. And from this help, they successfully imprisoned the Feldragon. And everything was doing okay, up until now, when clear signs are showing that the Feldragon may soon be resurrected. You play as the Divine Dragon, who is awakened 1,000 years after the war, with no memory of the past whatsoever. And through classic Fire Emblem tactical RPG battles, it's up to you to prevent the Feldragon from resurrecting. We just got a new trailer like yesterday, and from that alone, I feel like the storytelling is going to be on par of that of Fire Emblem Three Houses, which means we're on for a cracking game. Next is a game that needs no introduction, and that's The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom on the 12th of May. It feels like there's not much to say about this game. We all know it's coming, and we're probably all excited. Breath of the Wild was the first game I ever played on the Nintendo Switch, and I think it was truly the moment I fell back in love with gaming. Even if you're not a combat lover, there is so much to do outside of that, like puzzles, exploration, and Zelda's incredible storytelling. And this is most probably a contender for Game of the Year. Next is a game I'm not going to spend too long on because I've mentioned it tons as well, and that's Coral Island. There's no exact date for when it's coming in 2023, but we know that's kind of where they're aiming for. Just bear in mind when it comes to the Nintendo Switch release that it will take longer for it to come to the Switch than the other platforms. But I think this is a good thing, as they can spend a ton of time optimizing it and making sure it runs perfectly on the Switch. I've spoken about Coral Island before, as it's currently in early access for the PC and Steam Deck users, but to me, this is the ultimate farming sim. It's taken every aspect out of our usual farming sims and pushed it to the max. There's a huge map with over 75 NPCs to interact with, and one of my favorite parts is that there's a slider so you can decide exactly how long each in-game day lasts. Not only is there everything you know and love from farming sims, including seasonal crops that have the classics, but also native Asian crops as well. There's mining, farming, livestock, even the addition of diving, which is so much fun. And from what I've seen so far, the gameplay loop is so enjoyable and the game overall is so relaxing. And somehow, even in early access, there's so much to do. We know there's a ton more updates coming in the early access period, and one thing I'm particularly looking forward to is the Mer people. I truly cannot wait to see what this game is like when it's done. Next is a game franchise I somehow have never tried before, but coming in 2023 is My Time at Sandrock. I left this one at the end as it's not really clear when it's going to be arriving on the Switch, as it's still currently in early access. But I know how many of you tell me to try My Time at Portia, so this is clearly going to be another game that many of you are excited for. This game sees you take a job as Sandrock's newest builder in a wholesome post-apocalyptic world. My Time at Sandrock takes place 300 years after the day of the calamity that destroyed most technology. You and the other builders rebuild the town by gathering resources to build machines and try and defend Sandrock from monsters, all the while trying to make friends and explore the open world. There's plenty to do outside of just building as well, with world relics to go and find and tons of side quests and NPC stories to unpack. They've also added mini games and even combat. This generally looks like such a well-rounded game, and I'm excited to try it when it hits the Switch. So I left this one till last, and that's because honestly at this point I have no clue, but I said Genshin Impact. Okay, they said it's coming to the Switch, so why don't we predict that it's coming in 2023 and manifest it, you know? Those are all the games I'm excited for in 2023. And if you want to see me rank every game I played in 2022, click here. I'll see you next time. Bye.